Maresca has just dropped a big update on the future of Nicolas Jackson. We will bring you all the latest as we're live to Chelsea. So we covered Arsenal and Spurs. What about another London club in Chelsea then? Enzo Maresca has been speaking to the media this afternoon ahead of their game tomorrow night against West Ham. James Green was the man asking the questions, and we can join him live now. James, Chelsea have sold so well this summer, close to £250 million they've bought in, but they're by no means done. What has Enzo Maresca had to say on outgoings at the club?
Yeah, good afternoon. As you mentioned, they have sold so well. 11 players gone so far, close to a 12th in Renato Weiger joining Villarreal, and that will generate revenue of over £250 million. But there are plenty of players searching for a new future. Let's go through a few of them for you. Raheem Sterling, Ben Chilwell, Enzo Maresca said they're both training away from the main group as they search for solutions. With regards to Raheem Sterling, we know Fulham are interested, but a deal for the player could be really tricky. He's on big wages still at Chelsea. Christopher Nkunku was one mentioned. Maresca said he's still part of the main group, but unavailable for selection for tomorrow's game against West Ham as they seek a solution. We know RB Leipzig in talks with Chelsea over his signing. And a big one that's brought a lot of conversations around Chelsea is Nicolas Jackson. And I asked him if he is available for selection tomorrow. This is what the Chelsea manager had to say.
He is available, but he is not going to be part of the squad because, as we already said, we have two strikers, we have two players in that position, and also we know that something can happen before the window transfer close.
And is there anything on the horizon with Nicolas Jackson departing? Does he look close to a move away at the moment?
No idea, to be honest. No idea. You know already from last season that I prefer to be focused on training session, prepare the game. We see if they're gonna be here, they're gonna be with us. In case they are not here, that means that they found a solution. And at the end, I think it's always better if they can find a solution, because I think they're gonna be more happy, and the club the same.
So that's Nicolas Jackson. What about Wesley Fofana then? He caused a little bit of a stir yesterday with his social media, maybe unintentionally, but it led to him receiving some abuse online. What can you tell us?
Yeah, be careful what you delete on social media. You never know the outcry. Look, the context is that the player or his team deleted plenty of Chelsea posts from his Instagram yesterday, and it sparked a furor from Chelsea fans, linking that potentially he's upset at things at Chelsea. Look, Enzo Maresca said, I talk to him every day. The player is very happy, which he repeated multiple times. He said after the draw with Crystal Palace on the weekend that Wesley Fofana was part of the group. He was an unused sub, but would likely get more minutes against West Ham on Friday. That's what he reiterated to us today. Now, a lot of this possibly comes from last week. I was at the press conference with Enzo Maresca. We talked about a potential replacement for Levi Colwill and whether that replacement's going to be internal or external. Well, when he talked about internal, he said, well, Tosin Adarabioyo could do that job, but others, like Wesley Fofana, potentially not. And he decided to give us an example where he played in that position, specific position of Levi Colwill's last season against Bournemouth. And he said the first 45 minutes against Bournemouth, where he played in that position, was the worst performance of the team so far that season. So it wasn't very glowing, the reference he made, but he's drawn a line over it, said, no, there's nothing going on there at all. And with regards, Olivia, the search for a potential centre-back, last week, Enzo was quite strong with me to say, external. I want a new centre-back was the message he gave me. Today, he reiterated looking at internal solutions, and he reiterated that stance over and over again. So unlikely a centre-back may come in, but as we know, it's Chelsea, and you never know. You can't count your chickens until that deadline has passed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, James. Yeah, I'd quite like Josh Achiampong to maybe be that player internally that could. But let's talk Nicolas Jackson, because training away from the team now, it looked like, you know, he was suspended for the first game of the season, but he could have been an option for this West Ham game. Have you been in a similar situation, Jeff, as a player, where you've been training apart from sort of the first team? And what's that like, if so?
Yeah, I had a couple of summers doing that. It's not ideal, but at the end of the day, you just got to, you know, stay strong mentally, get the training done, luckily I think there was 4 or 5 of us in the same boat where, you know, we all just sort of kept each other going and made it sort of normal as we could. But then it's sort of hard, you know, one player might have got a move earlier than others, and you're all waiting for your opportunity to get out and go and play football again. So it can be quite difficult, but like I said, my situation wasn't as bad because there was a few of us. Yeah.
Xavi, Nicolas Jackson still has a lot to offer. You know, he scored 14 goals in his first Premier League season, 10 in his second. And are there more than 1-2 Premier League clubs in for him? And do you think he will get a move before the end of the window?
I think he'll almost certainly get a move. There are 5 or 6 clubs interested in signing him. A lot of Italian clubs. Aston Villa are interested in him as well. I think what will happen is next week, after the Newcastle-Liverpool game is out of the way, there may be some developments about Isak's future. And once that is sorted out, I think we may see a sort of little bit of a domino effect. Whether Isak stays or leaves Newcastle, I think a few clubs will be making a big move for an out-and-out striker. And that's why next week Chelsea are expecting some significant bids for Nicolas Jackson. I'm not sure whether Chelsea are pushing Nicolas Jackson out of the club. You know, he signed a new contract in September. He's got a contract until 2033. He's got 8 years left on his contract. So, you know, like just a few months ago, they were happy to extend his contract until 2033. I think the feeling is that maybe he doesn't offer as much as Liam Delap or João Pedro, but they would, if he stayed, it wouldn't be the end of the world for Chelsea. But I think the player himself wants to be the main man. And I think by Chelsea bringing in 2 strikers this summer, the message has kind of been sent to him that you're not going to be the main man. And now he's got all these other options. I think he wants to go and be the main man somewhere else. Yeah,
and Jeff, I mean, we were listening to James there talking about Enzo Maresca. There's one thing that's for sure, and that is Enzo Maresca is very honest, and he says exactly what he thinks. If you were a player and your manager came out and said, you know, some of the things that Enzo Maresca has said about, maybe not Nicolas Jackson, but maybe let's focus on Wesley Fofana, that, you know, when he played Levi Colwell's role, it was the worst 45 minutes that we've played. How would you feel as a player hearing that from your manager?
If I heard it face to face,
do you think he would have heard it face-to-face first, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. And you accept that, and because, you know, it's sort of constructive criticism, would you say? But then maybe for him to come out in the media and say it, you know, the player could be disappointed, because sometimes what is said and happens in the dressing room after a game stays there, and that's how you make things right. But then for him to come out in the media and say it will be tough for him to swallow a little bit, yeah, definitely. But I think the honesty would be appreciated for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. That Enzo Maresca is very honest. Right.